Mm-hmm.
We are going live.
And I do, and we are.
Very good. Let me go ahead and talk, and I will get you turned over to host. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't pay any attention to the man in the corner. Behind the curtain.
All right. Good morning, District 115. It is a Thursday, and it's a wonderful Thursday morning. I am Scott Transer, your District Club Goat Director. I am joined by Phyllis Tribby, my ever-capable co-host. We have a real treat for you today. We have joining us to discuss his division, his experiences in Toastmasters, etc. Division A Director, Larry Johnson. Larry, welcome to Wake Up a Toastmasters.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning. Good morning. I was a little lost in my computer.
That's all right.
But I finally came back.
Thanks for waking up with us. We really appreciate it. And I have a few questions for you, and I'm sure Phyllis might have one or two as well. Let's get going with one that I love to ask people. And it's just really great to hear the different stories that arise from this. And that is, when did you join Toastmasters, and why did you join Toastmasters whenever you did?
I joined Toastmasters in 2017. And the reason why I saw an ad in my work email that the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, and yes, I'm giving them a plug, because I want another promotion.
No worries.
I saw an ad in my email that the library district was forming a Toastmasters club. And I knew that I always had an issue with speaking when I'm not prepared, impromptu speaking, because I have a speech impediment, which still comes out here and there. And I decided that Toastmasters was something for me. But there's actually a little bit more to the story, because I already knew about Toastmasters. My father was actually part of Toastmasters in California. So I knew that it was an organization that helped out with speaking. Now, the one thing I did not know, that Toastmasters is a leadership development organization. I found that out later. And as a result of that, I was voted in, because, in Toastmasters, you can be voluntold, or there's no one else going for an office. But I was voted in as the vice president of public relations the first year I started Toastmasters, which actually made sense, because that's part of one of my talents.
So you held office your very first year?
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, great. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why I was able to hold office my very first year, because I was an officer in other organizations before I joined Toastmasters, so I had some experience in leadership roles.
Wasn't that a brand new club that you joined?
Yes. I was one of the chartered members.
Exactly.
And that club happens to be Library 2.0 Beyond Toastmasters.
Right.
That's great. That's really great. So you mentioned not only the communication aspect, but the leadership aspect. So this is obviously not the first leadership role you've held, division director. It is, however, the latest one. And what propelled you, or what convinced you? Maybe somebody asked you, or maybe you came to the decision on your own. How did you come about the decision to apply for Division A or division director for Division A?
It's a mixture. I believe that when you are asked to take on a leadership role in any organization, especially in Toastmasters, that you are called to that role. And I was called to that role because originally I was planning to be the public relations manager. And then I received an email or a phone call or text, I don't exactly remember, from the district leadership, I think, committee chair. And she asked me, "Hey, Larry, we're surprised that you didn't apply for the division director role." And I had to really think about it. What do I really want to do? Even though I do love public relations work, sometimes I'm a little impatient when it comes to creating gorgeous advertisement. And I thought that the division director role really matched my personality. And one of the reasons why, because in this role, I'm able to support people and to be a mentor to other leaders, and especially to area directors, since I've served that role for a couple of years.
So you had been an area director before, correct?
Yes. I've been an area director for 2 terms.
Oh, great. So obviously you learned a great deal as an area director. What was the biggest lesson you took from that experience that you're going to bring to the division director role, do you think?
Good question. One of the lessons that I've learned is to communicate well. And what I mean by communicating well, not necessarily verbally, but sending information to the executive board so they will have the tools to succeed. And this is something that I currently do as a department. I'm a department head at the library district, and I always push information to people that I serve that are paid employees. And that's what I did as an area director. And that's what I'm currently doing as a division director. And sometimes it may seem a little bit overwhelming to the individuals who receive information. I just feel that it's necessary in order for them to succeed. So in a sense, as I mentioned, it's about pushing good information because that's part of communication, and also just being supportive.
Right. And remembering my experience in your role years ago, I remember very well it was much more about dealing with personalities and people and possibly even conflict than some other roles might involve. So we look forward to seeing you evolve and seeing where you take Division A, really. What are your initial thoughts now that we're all of 3 weeks into the new term, if you will? What are your initial thoughts about your role and what you see you're looking like? I'm curious about that.
Well, I'm excited about this role, and one of the reasons why, because I'll be working with great area directors, and I know that 2 of them are experienced, so they will make sure that I'm always doing the right actions. They will make sure. So in a sense, 2 of the area directors will be almost kind of like my quote unquote mentors in a sense. And then I have 2 that are new, so it will be excited to see them develop into great leaders. And hopefully one of the area directors will take over my role. So I will pass on my legacy. If you think about it, if you mentor someone, a piece of yourself is in them. And And they usually continue to do the good work that you have started. And that's what I believe.
Mhm.
In
I would
every
like my
role,
division. Excuse me, sorry.
I was gonna say, in every role of Toastmasters, there's always the last line. It says, "Find your replacement." So it
Yep.
sounds like you're on
Mhm.
top of it.
Yes,
Pre-
yes, I'm not. By
Pretty
myself.
impressive, Larry. Pretty impressive. Very good. So now you've just started your year as division director, and this is not leading any particular place, my next question, but do you see yourself evolving into even higher positions within Toastmasters leadership, or do you think, or do you know maybe this is where you land and you have a great year and you move on, or maybe you do pursue other leadership roles? Do you know right now where your Toastmasters journey might be headed in that sense?
Toastmasters is a tricky organization. I can't answer that question. And I've heard this over and over again. This has happened to me. In Toastmasters, you are called to leadership.
Mhm.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
You are called. I believe that you need to answer that call, because that call will help you develop. And I know that as area director, I was called for those positions, and there was part of me that wanted to do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said yes. It's the same thing as the division director, was part of me that wanted to do that. So if I'm called to do a higher position and I have the opportunity to think about it, I probably will say yes.
Mhm.
Not because I'm a yes person, it's because I felt that it will benefit me as well as benefit the organization.
Cool. Very cool. So getting back to the communication side of things, I'm one of those people that's always curious about what topics people pick to speak about. Uh, in the speeches you've given to date, are there favorite topics that you like to center on, or have they been a range of topics that you've chosen to speak about?
That's a good question. I'll have to say I have a particular style than other topics.
Okay.
I've been known to be a storyteller,
Hmm.
and this is not just true in Toastmasters. So, for example, when I'm working, I have to always tell staff, and particularly staff that are younger than me, my past stories of being a librarian in the 90s and seeing their eyes like, what? In the 90s? In the 20th century? I mean, or sometimes I just had a really interesting story with a parent who's a few years younger than me, and we were talking about computers in the 1980s.
Mhm.
And things that we had to deal with, which their children, well, this person's children didn't have to deal with because the technology is a lot more advanced then. And so that's what I tend to do. I tend to tell a lot of stories in my speeches. And then I'm always a little dramatic. That's part of my personality. Sometimes I go a little over the top. So I'll have to say that my style is consistent. My stories are the type of speeches that I tell are usually a little different.
Mhm.
Each
Right.
one's a little different.
Now, I heard you say that you had a speech impediment, and that's one of the reasons why I think you said you joined our organization.
Yes.
Back in my old district years ago, in my club, we had a member who did exactly the same thing. She had a issue with stuttering, and you would not believe the improvement that she made during her time in Toastmasters. I believe she's still a member. I haven't spoken with her in quite a long time, but she made just incredible improvements, and it's a real testament to you, not only joining for that reason, but also joining to expand on your leadership abilities and take on bigger roles and so forth. So I find it just really interesting to me. Phyllis, you have any questions for Larry? Anything else you want to inquire?
I think that Toastmasters being a safe environment
Mm.
and everyone wanting to help you reach your goals. People that have like a speech impediment or such a drastic fear of
Mhm.
stepping up in front of a group. My background is that I spoke well one-on-one, but on two people, I never spoke at all. And so going up in front of the group was traumatizing. I mean, you had to do it. So I think that we all find that after a week or two, we realize what a safe environment we are in Toastmasters, and can come
Mhm.
forth. And, even though we have a stutter, we have a fear, we can work through that, at least try. So I think that's a testament also to our members and how Toastmasters has been set up. Now back to Larry. Larry, tell me, now that you're the Division A director, do you have something in mind that you want to do with your group, the whole division, or maybe just your area directors? I have had one of my proteges actually have a monthly meeting with his area directors, giving them advice, bringing in people to talk, finding out all their questions that they now have. Do you have something in mind you'd like to do?
Yes. And I had an excellent conversation with the area directors in Division A during the training.
Good.
And we have decided, and you hear I said the word we, not just me.
Mhm.
Good.
We have
That's good.
decided
That's good.
to meet on a monthly basis, a week after the division directors meet with the fabulous trio. So I would have information to bring them, because I know the trio will have some great information, right, Scott?
Absolutely.
And we have decided to add an educational component.
Okay.
And so that they will develop their skills, and I want to develop my skills too, because I will not be the only one teaching that component. And we have also decided to open up the division council meeting to all club officers in Division A on a quarterly basis.
Mm.
And hopefully we will be able to make it into a fabulous event. And that's also a great way for the area directors to meet with the executive boards in their areas. So we're planning.
It sounds like
Wow.
a great idea. I think that bringing the people together, since we've been so separated by COVID, we need to come back and visualize ourselves being together. But an educational night, but letting the area directors know that you're there for them and you're going to answer questions. And if you don't know the answers, you're going to get answers. That's kind of some of these area directors that come to visit my clubs, or if they even come to visit my club, they just don't feel confident enough. And I think this kind of a meeting will help you build confidence. Now, you mentioned the library and we gave it a thumbs up. Did you get that promotion?
Yes. And I have to say that Toastmasters has helped me. I received the promotion about I think this is my second month. You know, when you start a new job, so many things happen. And time just goes by fast. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well,
And
obviously you like what you do, and that makes the time pass quicker. I am sorry for people that have to do work that they don't enjoy. But you talked about being a librarian in the 90s. What would your poor people say that if the going weekly rate was $40 and a quarter when I started working? So yeah, the 90s doesn't sound so bad to me. I made quite a bit of money in the 90s, but back when I started, there wasn't any money available. Of course, everything costs less too.
I admit when I first started as a librarian, one of my jobs, I had two jobs. I started off at about $13 an hour.
Yeah.
Which is but I survived because I was living with my parents. But yes, I'm glad that the improvement in salary.
Well, I think that it has to go up. That's a different subject. It has to go up. When you have to work a whole hour to be able to go to McDonald's, something has to be done.
Yes.
Something has to be done. And I have hired many people that could not go to McDonald's on their hourly rate. That's, you start them out minimum, and that's the way it is.
Right.
So how many employees do you actually have in your department?
At the library.
At the library.
Let me see here. I have 5 talented people working for me. And I also supervise another supervisor, and he has about between 3 to 4 staff members.
So it's about what anybody would think of when you go into a library, the number of people that are there actually working. I'm sure you have some volunteers. Now tell me about how many people are going to be in your department, which is Division A.
Yes. What I know that there are 4 area directors, which are split up between, I guess, sections or areas 1, 2, 2 to 4. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. I have to think about it. I don't remember how many clubs, but on average, there's about 3 clubs. Let me calculate this. So I think it's about 13 clubs altogether.
Okay.
Which hopefully we will grow.
And in those 13 clubs, we have to be averaging what, 10 people?
Yeah, so
Some less, some more.
Yeah, it's a fairly big range. We have a club that has, I believe, 37 members, and down to either 9 or 8. Of course, there are some clubs that I think have disappeared or will be disappearing because they are no longer successful.
So in your little group now, we might have close to 200 people that might be looking to you for leadership. Is that daunting?
Yes. Thinking about it, yes.
Well, your recommendation came from the district committee, so they feel that you can do the job. And everybody feels like they're a little bit short of being able to do the work that's been given to them. But by 6 months, you will be a pro. And when you go on for a year, you'll be able to teach this job to everybody. So welcome as our Division A director. Larry?
Larry, we're actually getting close to the bottom of the hour here. So Larry, anything in closing you'd like to share with the district about yourself, about your new role? Any closing thoughts you have for us?
The only closing thought that I have specifically for the individuals that I'm supporting is that I would like them to have fun enjoy their work as area directors, also for the executive boards in Division A, enjoy their time as officers, do not stress over it. And it's good to create high goals, but if you accomplish 50% of them, you are successful in my book. So in
If
other
you're
words,
working on them.
Yeah. Yes. Very good. Well, Larry, it's been an absolute joy to have you on Wake Up with Toastmasters. We enjoyed your story. We enjoyed your take on your role this year, and we are looking for you to lead Division A in just wonderful places, and we can't wait to see you evolve not only as a leader but as a Toastmaster over the next 12 months or so. So, thanks so much for coming on the show today. And we look forward to great things coming out of Division A, sir.
thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Phyllis.
right. Anything else you want to share, Phyllis?
Well, we must remind people about game night last Saturday of the month. So please come and join us and have some of that fun we're always talking about.
Absolutely. We are about fun, no doubt. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.